Let's get stuck into it. Now, we're going to start at the top with the one and only Prince Harry Grant. He's coming in at $691K. I actually thought Harry Grant, Tim, all things considered, for how well Jerome Hughes went last year, I actually thought last year was a little bit of a down year for Harry Grant. But, I mean, if that's your down year, it just shows how elite you are. He will play Origin. You have to take that into calculations and whatnot. I won't bag anyone or give anyone shit for starting with Harry Grant. I do think there are better avenues to go down. What are your thoughts?
I don't mind him as a potential set and forget.
Yep.
I think I had Reece Robson not initially as a set and forget. He ended up being it for me last year, and among all the headaches that were the Cooma Stallions, he was not one of them. And I think 2 years ago maybe I had Harry Grant for the longevity of the season. I don't mind it. I think he'll be the best hooker in the game. I think the only threat to him being the top scoring hooker in the game is like if the Tigers improve significantly and Appy's kicking goals, there's potential there. But with a lot of these players we'll go through in our positional analysis, particularly forwards, I'll look at, because it comes down to minutes and what their fitness is like and workload, I'll look at how they average over their first 5 games of the year. Harry Grant last year across the first 5 games averaged 60 points for the season. He went on to average 71 for the season, so significantly down. But if we go back to the 2 years prior to that, 2023, first 5 games, he averaged 79 points per game. 2022, 84.4 points per game, playing max minutes. So, last year was a bit of an outlier, but I will genuinely consider Harry Grant for round 1. There's a lot to play out, but I don't mind the play.
I think as well, probably annually now, Tim, hooker is becoming a huge pain in the arse. It seems like every year we're having issues there and dramas. When you pick Harry, at least you avoid all that.
You avoid them all. Him underwhelming when you buy him is like, all right, he will drop 50 to 100K max, but there's also upside there of him scoring tons because he's unbelievable. He's just so safe. I feel like Harry's position in my team will come down to cheapies. Because if there's enough genuine cheapies, it's going to free up cash to go, minimum 2-gun fullbacks, Cleary, potentially like a Nico Hines, whatever it might look like. And then I can add Harry Grant. But if we're light on cheapies and you've got to pay for a few more mid-ranges to generate squad value, it's going to be very hard to get Harry Grant in. The other one is, of course, cheapies in the hooker position. We're going to get to one later who's going to be super popular. But if there's 2 genuine cheapies at hooker, I'm not against starting with that. But for now, I don't mind Harry Grant and a certain someone else combo. We'll get to him soon.
Connor Watson. I know we're big on him. 583K. When Connor played 70 minutes or more last year as a 9 or a 13, he averaged 79 points. Pretty fucking incredible. He's obviously got a heap of upside to him. The thing I like about Connor this year, mate, is Brandon Smith's injured. He'll have to start at 9. I don't know if the Roosters can afford to only have a 3-forward bench with the side they've got now. If they are to go with the utility on the bench, it's going to have to be Moriarty, who I don't think has played first grade yet, has got very little experience. He's the only hooker that's in the squad at the moment. Mate, I personally think Connor doesn't have a choice. I think he has to play huge minutes there. And if he does, mate, I think he's incredibly hard to leave out. At 583K, I will take Connor Watson over Plath and Appy any day of the week, and I'm going to take him over Harry Grant.
Yes, very interesting. So I had 2 games at hooker last year starting, 80 and 70 minutes. He played for scores of 58 and 53. He's priced on an average of 60 points per game, but there's upside there, as you said. Yeah, and my big note was just, does he share the hooking role or what's it look like? But as you say, there's no one really that could do it.
Mate, it's going to have to be...
What's Tyler Moriarty? Is he a hooker?
Yeah, he's a hooker. He's the only other player in the squad while Brandon Smith's injured that I think could jump in at 9, because normally it would probably be Sandon Smith. And
it would be Sandon, yeah.
Yeah, and I just think they've lost Jared, they've lost Terrell May, they've also lost their 2 centres who are great coming out of their own end. I don't know if this side can afford to run with a utility on the bench.
It's only a small thing, but Robbo's under pressure as well.
Yeah,
he needs to win
Robbo's
games.
under pressure. Yep.
I mean, straight off the bat, if he's the sole hooker, I'm starting him.
Yeah, I think he's a certainty if he's the sole hooker.
Yeah. Could Has Victor Radley spent time at hooker? Am I making that up?
Oh,
or
mate,
not?
he has, but
Not that it'd be much.
I think he has to be the lock. If he's not in the I'm personally playing him at 13. I don't know where you had him in your
13.
Yeah, I don't think they can afford to move him out of there too.
Yeah, it makes Connor very enticing.
Heaps enticing. Yeah, I just think I can't see a world where he's not really playing 80 minutes. I know that's rough on his body and probably not fair on him, but I just think that's the position they find themselves in. I think they'd have a plan to try and manage him once Cheese is back.
Even then, he averaged 68 minutes per game last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, he's capable of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Connor Watson is just about locked into my side. But we'll wait and see what happens. Let's get some cheapies, shall we?
Yeah.
Bit of Bicky. Don't mind if I do. Okay. I have got a couple of names here. I'm going to start with my favourite of them all, though, mate, from the Sydney Roosters. Sandon Smith, 237K. Goal kicking at the Roosters. Every half has left or got injured. I'm closer to playing halfback for the Roosters than I should be. 2 games in the halves last year for scores of 88 and 51. In 2023, when he was playing in the halves, he had a 48-point average. He's priced at like a 23-point average or something. He is halfback / hooker. He's an absolute slam dunk for me in one of those positions. I think hooker's the one. What are your thoughts?
It was actually in 2023 in the halves 48.7, not 48, mate. So just don't disrespect the listeners like that. They give their time to listen to our podcast. If you're going to cut corners, just saying. Yeah.
Repeat once again, fuck you. Proceed.
You've done some good homework there.
Oh, boy.
So he's in my team. He's dirt cheap, starting in the halves for, look.
Don't like hearing that.
The Roosters aren't probably tipped to be what we haven't gone into the season as high on them this year as we have in others due to all the injuries.
Yeah.
And then that's sort of given Sandon Smith an opportunity as well. I think he's an outstanding footballer, first and foremost, and I think he has a big future. You add goal kicking to it, you add dual hooker half. What's he, hooker half? Hooker 5'8"? Hooker half, I think.
Hooker half he is.
I think he's a must-have. If he's goal kicking, must-have. If he's not goal kicking, near enough.
Yeah, I still put him in the kind of must-have, even if he's not goal kicking. I think he will be, though. I think it's him and Chad that are competing. I think Billy Smith can kick him as well. But kicked, what did he kick? 46 goals in 41 games in New South Wales Cup over the last few years, 72% in first grade so far.
Does that percentage for Cup?
I haven't done it. I couldn't work out how many it was from.
Yeah, it's all right.
I was going to go back and watch all the gains and count them individually, but I just ran out of time. Sorry, Tim. I'm sorry. I'll do better, okay?
I know you will.
Sorry, mate. But yeah, I think it's between him and Chadwick. I'd probably back Sandon Smith to get the nod there.